Right, let's make sure everything's working. I have no viewers yet. Give it time though. We shall see what happens. Nice. Right, so every time a viewer comes into the channel, I will make sure to say hello, okay? But if I can't see who you are, or you've not said anything, like hello, okay, then it's hard to see if you're participating. Anyway, let's get the stream chat thing up. I've got my pirates hat on, nice and straight. There we go. Mr. Booson. I'm just busy, right? So here we are. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Time for me to do some streaming. Today's broadcast is brought to you by buying myself a thing. Yeah. So let me see. Today I am going to. That's fair enough. Today I'm going to be working on a few things because I need to do some prep. Okay, so what I'm going to do, and it doesn't matter, there's no one like literally watching the stream live, okay, because this goes off and it sits in YouTube and all that kind of good thing. So hello YouTube, hello Facebook, and hello Twitch, and hello CGPirates, you beautiful bloody bastards. Okay, so what I'm doing first is I want to do some stuff regarding a flashing light. Now, if I go over here to File, New Level, and just make myself a default level. There we go, here it is here. Now I do move a little bit fast sometimes, okay, that's the whole point of hello, how are you? I do, I'm not sure who it is who's just came into the channel because it doesn't tell me, but I'm sure you're lovely whoever you are. Unless you're Peter, in which case, ew, it's Peter. No, only joking, hello Peter. Okay, so I'll move fairly fast, but the good thing is this is a recording as well, so, you know, even though I'm doing it live, you can go back and watch it. By my hat. I need to shave my head again. Oh. Stretch my neck. Right then, God, I'm old. So, this is something I was talking about the other day with some architects. So, I'm just going to make myself a blueprint. So, new folder. Here it is here, and I'm going to call it Assets. And then I'm going to go into my Assets folder and create another folder inside this called BPs. And the reason I do that, you always see people doing that, and you're like, oh, why do I need to do that? One, you'll end up with a folder full of shit, okay, just like everywhere, all over your content folder. Won't be able to find a bloody thing. Two, it's a lot easier to migrate stuff to other projects if you keep it tidy, okay? Really does make a big difference. Okay, so in my BPs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new, hello other viewer, a new blueprint class, okay? And I'm going to create an actor. Now the actor is the base class. The actor is the one that we make when we want to be able to make things that are interactive. Okay, so you know, a light switch, a light, a door, things like that. If I was making a car that I was going to get into, or a crane, I'd use a pawn. But I'm using an actor because all I want's a light that's going to flash. Okay, so I'm going to call this BP flashing light underscore WNW, and I'm calling it WNW because that means that's me, okay, just being sarcastic. It will not work. Now, I'm going to open this up and I'm going to show you why it doesn't work as well. And there are a few workarounds for this, but to be honest, they're not that efficient. So, firstly, I want to add a cube. Okay, and I add a cube because then I've got something for my light to sit on. Goodbye viewer, sorry if it was too difficult for you. Okay, so here's my cube here. Now, as I've said before, okay, to other people, what happens is the pivot point of whichever object we drag into our scene like this is centered to world 0, 0, 0 space. So as you can see, if I drag it into the scene now, it'll be halfway through the floor. So I'm just going to change my Z value to 50. Now when I drag this in, okay, because this is my root here, it'll actually be standing on the floor. So that helps. Now, next thing I need to do is I need to bring in an actual light to make flash, okay? So in here I'm going to type point, and there we go, that's our point light. I shall drag that up just so that it's on top of here. And I'm going to change its light colour to this exciting red. Okay, and that way, hello viewer who's just turned up, and that way we can kind of make this work, you know, we can see it and all that kind of guff. So now I'm going to change this to 15,000. Okay, so nice and bright. Compile, save. Right, so if I close this down now, we have this BP flashing light blueprint. Okay, I can dump it in my scene and you can see it's emitting light. Okay, each one of these is emitting light, but they're not flashing. Now the question I had the other day was, well, how do I make it flash? Which is a good bloody question. Now, if I was doing some sort of an action that I wanted repeated, what I could do is I could use a for loop. So that was my first thinking here. Because to be fair, I've never actually made a light flash. So what I'd do is I'd go into here, okay, and we'd have, well, we'll use the begin play node. So this is going to start the second we go into the scene. Oh shit, son. You're right. You are so right, my old friend. Hang on then. Whoops. Okay, let's do all this shit again. Right, get rid of that. Okay, so Nyuk Nyuk FR, you are now officially the cleverest person I've ever taught. Well done. Okay, let's do this again. Right, so like I was saying, I'm going to right click and I'm going to create a new blueprint class, okay? And it is going to be an actor blueprint. I'm really glad you pointed that out. Okay, so I'm going to call this BP flashing light WNW because it's not going to work, okay? Just to let you know that. So don't think you can, you know, oh god, I just hurt my lip. Don't think you can sell this one on the marketplace and make like billions of euros or whatever, because you won't. Okay, now I'm going to add a component and I'm going to add a cube. There it is there. And I'm going to change its Z location to 50. And the reason I do that is now, you see, the root, which is this round bally thing, that's the bit that gets aligned with whatever we drag it onto. And this will now be 50 units placed above that. So it's going to be flush with the ground. Okay? Don't worry, bear with me on this. Okay? Nyuk Nyuk knows what I'm talking about. Okay, next I'm going to add my point light. So I type in the word point for point light, and then just drag it above here so that it's on top of, see, on top of. And I'm going to change the intensity to 15,000, and the colour to, well, I had red, so I'll use red again. There we go, red. Compile and save. Yoink. Okay, let's close the window. So now if I drag it in, you can see, exactly, you get the point. Okay, so like I said, okay, this is the first time I've been asked to make a flashing light, and normally I've already got some flashing light functions that I can use. This time I didn't, so what I thought I'd do is just start from scratch. So I'm going to use the event begin play. Now what I might want is I might want this kicked off on a tick, I might want this kicked off on all sorts of things. But event begin play is kind of suitable for what I want. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to affect the visibility, okay, down here. Is it visible, is it not visible? Through this loop. Now, let's have a look at this. So a simple way of doing a loop would be a for loop. So I'll drag this out and type in for. And here we go. Now I don't want an array. Okay, an array is not much use to me. So what else can I have? Well, there's an enum. I don't really want an enum loop either. So what else can we have? For loop. I just want flow control. For loop. Okay, and I don't need a break. Now, I'll put this in here, And my first index is 0 and my last index is going to be 100, okay, because my view was, well, I'll have it blink 100 times. Makes sense. So what this will do is it'll run through the loop body 100 times from 0 to 100, incrementing it by 1 each time. Okay, so we can check this works as well. So in loop body I'll put a print, there we are, print string, and I'll just link my index to inString here, so it'll convert that to a suitable format, so it's integer to a string. Compile and save, and I hit play, and we should have, there we go, lots of numbers all down the side, because it does it straight away, really fast. Okay, well, we know that's working now, so all I wanted to do was, I was going to have it where it went. Okay, turn on the light, delay. Okay, so the delay was going to be, let's say, 0.2 seconds. That seems about adequate, but I'll make it 0.5. So we'll print out the string, it'll delay for 0.5, it'll go back to the for loop. And what was going to happen was, inside where this print string is now, hello new viewer, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Bonk, bonk. Anyway, what I was going to do was, this was going to be an enable light, delay, disable light, delay. Okay, there's 4 actions inside here, and then it was going to come back to this for loop. So let's now run it, now that I've got this delay in. See, it works, it does all that, but it didn't put any delay in between them. So if I'd had a light that was going on, off, on, off, on, off, nothing would have happened. Okay, because it would have just been too fast really for it to even update the light with. So if I look at this, okay, and we look at the flow, event begin play, I'll click stop. Event begin play, here's the for loop, it's doing it 100 times, no delay. Okay, so it's not putting a delay in place before it does it again. And it's supposed to reach the end of this before it does. Now there is a way of doing this, okay, you can make it work. And a way to make it work would be that I'll get rid of that delay, and I'd go down here to macros, click plus, and I'd call this my delay macro. Okay, macros are pretty powerful. Now if I click on this one, and I'm just going to hit compile, so I've got access to everything, I can add an output, okay, or an input. Okay, so I've got these, so I've got parameters that can come into and out of these things if I want to, and I can call it in the editor. I won't do that. What else can I do with this? Just open that up. There we go. I can make default values and all sorts of things, you know. So I could have this running inside of and have my delay running off this as an event. But that's a pain in the arse. Okay, and to be honest, I didn't need to do that anyway. So remember that. You can create yourself a macro if you want to, okay? But I'm not going to. Now, instead, what I should have done, thinking back on it, is I should have just created a material function. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go back to my assets folder, right click, and I'm going to create a material, and I'm going to call this my flashy lighty mat. Okay, because this is my flashy light. Now if I open that up, obviously if you're used to Unreal Engine tool, this is my material editor. And by the way, you can ask me things, you know, you can do things beside pointing out that I'm streaming the wrong screen. Oh, I don't mind. Anyway, like I say, I'm just doing prep, and I talk because I talk to myself all the time. So anyway, this isn't the material domain that we want. This is a surface material, the kind of material you just apply for, you know, blue plastic or whatever. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to change my material domain to light function. And when I do that, you'll notice that I now only have this emissive color, okay? Nothing else, just my emissive color. And that's cool, because that's all I'm interested in, really. Now, what I want to do is I want to make a little node that's going to feed into this, okay? So I'm going to start with time, because time's important. There we are, there's time. And my time, you see I can set my period of time, which is kind of useful, like that. And I could feed that straight to my emissive color. See that? Blinking light. That's all I had to do. Isn't it amazing? Now I can refine that if I want to as well. Okay, so I don't just have to have this blinking emissive color. I can do whatever I want. But let's start with this. So save. And instead, what I might want to do instead of my material function, if I just break this, I'm going to hold Alt and click, is, well, round. Okay, so this rounds the value up to the next whole number. Now let's look how that looks. Now it's flashing. You see what I mean? Cool, huh? Now, what I could do is, I could also divide it. So if I divide this by, say, a value of 2, on, off, on, off. Okay, so we're getting it where if I do that, as opposed to this, okay, so that's my divide function added to it. This is what I like about when we're doing this kind of maths, we can make it additive. Hello, viewer 4. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to get a fraction. There we go, so frac. Okay, and what this is going to do is literally it's just a frac that I'm going to lead into an if. There it is here. Okay, and this is just an if statement. Feed that into the emissive colour. Now there's an error because I need some other stuff to come into this, and the other stuff I'm going to need to come into this will be 3 single value amounts. Okay, so this one will go to B because it needs to compare A to B as an if statement, and then this will come into is A greater than B, and this will come into is A less than B. Okay, and this allows us just to kind of constrain the value. So I'll put 1 in there, and then here I'm going to put half. There we go, and now we have control over our light. So save and close major tab. Now let's get rid of this blueprint. Bye bye Mr. Blueprint. And in its place, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull a light into my scene. Now it's a little bit bright in here. Okay, so I'm going to go to File, New Level, Empty Level. Okay, so I've got an empty level here, and I'm going to put this plane on the floor. So I've got somewhere to stand, and I'm going to change the scale to 5 by 5. There we go. Okay. Next, if I come in nice and close, I'm going to get myself a light. So I'm going to go to Lights, Point Light, just drag that in, pop that there. I want to make a couple of these. I'm going to make one here and one here. Okay, that way I've got a constant light. Now this one's going to turn to red. Okay, and then if I come down here and I'm going to look for my light function material and drag that into there. Oh my wordage, who would have thought it? Works so nicely. You see, and now I don't need to have a blueprint function to enable or disable the light. It's always going to flash. All I need now is a blueprint function, really, that I can, you know, tell it to use the light function with, which makes things so much easier. So, for example, I love that I have to build the light still because it's still a static light technically. But for example, what I could do is I could use a level blueprint now to just control whether or not this light's even going to be in my scene, which is a great help. Now I'm just going to go to my basic and put in a cube. There we go, and now I'll build. And just to show that obviously it is picking up the lighting from this. Okay, so that's the light flashing that I had to sort out for tomorrow. There we go. Done. Lovely as well because it's a nice additive bit of shadowing there. Okay, so the next thing I need to look at is Ansel. Now, for Ansel, I'm actually going to have to bake a project, which can take a little while. So I'm going to use this one. So I'll just save my current, and I'm going to call this test map. Okay, just so I know what it is. Now, when I actually come to building my project, what it's actually going to build is, it's going to build my starter content map, which is this, I think it's a starter map here. I might want it to build advanced lighting. Let's have a look at that, because I don't think I've loaded that one up recently. No, I'm going to have starter map. There we go. Right, so I wanted to explain how we can take, you know, nice renders of our scene without having to have all sorts of mad nonsense, you know, like having to get everything lined up just right and stuff. You know, what if we want a client to be able to take a photograph from inside our scene? I don't think this is the level that I was thinking of, is it? This level's just full of shit. Hang on. I'm not sure why it's so full of shit. There we go. I think it's in the first persons. No? Okay, let's find my maps. Filters. Level. There we are. First person example map. That's the one that I want. Is there a cat? No. Won't be a second, there's a cat in my window. Hello, viewer 5. How are you?
Get in. Get in. Hold.
Right then, where was I? Ah yes, I remember being a bit fat. But I've got my Twin Peaks shirt on, so that's all that matters. Right, hello fifth viewer, I hope you're well. Okay, let's go back to this. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to compile the shit out of this scene. But before I do, I'm going to put Ansel on. So, if I go to my Edit, Project Settings, no, Plugins, sorry, Plugins. And you can see I've already got a few plugins here, like V-Ray and cool stuff like that. But if I go to Build In, and what I want is Ansel. There we are, NVIDIA Ansel Photography Plugin. Now, I think this might only be for NVIDIA cards, so sorry Team Red. However, click Enabled, and restart now. Okay, let's look around. Doop-a-doo. How you all doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay. Thank you. Thank you for asking. Bye-bye, person 5. By the way, you may be wondering, who does he always speak like this all the time? Yeah. When I'm teaching, this is what I sound like. Okay, here we go. So I've got Ansel now enabled in my project. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to build my project, and my built project will have Ansel inside of it. Now I need to build this anyway because I want a kind of a test scene to show tomorrow to some users. So let's see. I'll go to File, Build. Here we go. Blah, 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 package project. Windows 64-bit in development. Packaging settings, let's have a quick check of those. Yep, no, 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 no. Project build, if project has code or running locally built, yes. Build configuration, yes. Build target, staging. Full rebuild, no. Blueprint nativization method, we'll just leave it all as it is. Okay, so this will take a little while, but it'll look like I'm being very, very clever. I'm not. So let me see, package project, Windows, and I'm going to come up with a build area for it. So I'll go into my U drive for this, new folder, temp build. I've called it temp build, haven't I? Never mind. We'll just use that anyway, and select folder, and there it goes. Okay, so now I'll show the output log and it'll make it look like I'm doing all sorts of clever stuff. And now I'm going to just sit here and drink pop, look out the window. Hard life of a compiling artist. This is a bit like rendering when you're a hard surface artist or whatever, and you know, you've got 3 hours ahead of you when nothing much is going to happen. So what this will do is this is going to compile everything into native C++ and a giant pack file. But it's going to include the Ansel plugin inside with it. At the same time, what it's going to do is it's going to recompile all the shaders that I've used in this map. There aren't many, thankfully, which makes things a little bit easier. And I'm trying to remember what else it's going to be doing. Let me see. No, I think that's about it, really. There's not actually a lot for it to do, so with any luck, this will give you a good example of how quickly this sort of thing compiles on my system, which is, what am I using? I'm using a 2600 Ryzen. I'm using a 1060 NVIDIA, and I've got 16 gigs of Corsair RAM, so not a lot of RAM. And in fact, RAM is the next thing that I'll be upgrading after I've upgraded my PCU. Incidentally, anyone in channel who's watching and actually has the volume on, if you have a suggestion for a good PSU, I would be interested to hear it in channel, because I do need to buy a new PSU this week, and I am going to be looking at over Amazon. I need one that's going to be at least 650 watts, because I don't think the current one I'm running is, although I will take out my computer and have a look at it in a minute. Come on, you can do this. Right, where are we up to? So, suppress this message. No, I don't want to. Using Visual Studio 2017. Yes, I am. My project CPP. Yep, so it's basically just compiling still. Isn't this fun? Maybe we should play some music. Look out the window. I wonder what this Go Live bot does. Oh, there we go. It's on the other window. Go Live bot. Sign in with Twitter. Go on then, I'll sign in with Twitter. Okay, there we go. I don't know what it's doing, but it's signing in with Twitter now. Okay. Choose file. Isn't this exciting? I've lost another person here, but to be honest, I can't say I'm surprised. It's not doing a lot. Sometimes there's boring stuff, you know. You could be chatting to me and leave me messages if you wanted to, though. Admittedly, if they're... I don't know if I'll see them if they're on Facebook, which is a bloody shame. But let's hope, eh? Now then. That one. Ooh, that looks good. Okay, this one. Right. Yeah, that'll do. Save. Save. Ah, 5 viewers. While it's compiling, your webcam is hiding part of the details. Is it? Oh god, sorry dude. Hang on then. There. Is that better? It's not actually doing a lot. It's just literally kind of hiding that bit. Just here. It's taken a while to compile 3.5 myproject.cpp, isn't it? But I need this for tomorrow, really, when I'm going to be teaching, because I need to show people how the Ansel plugin actually works, because it's kind of important, especially in visualization. We may think that we only use this for video games and stuff, which is cool. We do use it a lot for video games, but we need to use it for things like oh god, what's it called? Visualization a lot more, because it's very, very helpful. Close that down. Pardon me. That's my notifications. I'm aware this isn't really very exciting, and I'm very sorry, Yuck Yuck, and all my other great pals hanging out on the channel. But I needed this little bit of compiling, unfortunately. And I can't really do much else while it's doing it. You know, if I do stuff inside my project, well, it'll screw it up. Bit of a bugger. Hello, 6th viewer. I never tried the Ansel plugin. Is it like working on it? Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's basically that. The thing is, like I say, this week I'm teaching some professional architects, and